You're listening to A View from the Cheap Seats Wrestling Podcast.
Rules were meant to be broken. This country was founded by men who dared to break the rules. In fact, we break them all the time. Didn't you ever speed, take a sip of alcohol before you were 21, have an expired license, fail to curb your dog? It doesn't make you a criminal. You're still a good person. Laws are merely suggestions. Live life the way that you want to. Do it for you. Hell, I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know.
Sadly, I'm starting the show off today to talk about a wrestler who has passed. Sean O'Haire was found dead in his home earlier this week. He was 43. The promo I played earlier was one of the many promos that I actually remember him by. He started in WCW and he's one of the many talents that came over after WCW was bought out by WWF, now WWE. He was there for a little bit during the invasion, but after the invasion failed, they sort of sent him to get, I guess, peppered up a bit over in OVW, and he did a very good job there and came out with these amazing promos. So he had these great mic skills to work with. Unfortunately, like many things, it never really panned out. A lot of things sort of fell into the wrong places. He was paired up with Roddy Piper at the time, and Roddy Piper was then left the company after some things that he had said, and so he was sort of left out in limbo before eventually getting his release much later on. My condolences go out to all the friends and family of Sean O'Haire. TMZ is reporting that he possibly has taken his life in this sort of death, and that's a trend I never want to actually see increase. Again, I can't help but send out one of my condolences. So here's sort of a subject in the company I haven't talked about yet. That's ROH, Ring of Honor. I'm actually a big fan of Ring of Honor. I am. I discovered them over off the East Coast, probably around the same time a lot of people did. And they were sort of becoming like Neo ECW, but without the excessive hardcore. It was more a focus big on wrestling. They went through some definite troubling times, and for a long period of time, I actually stopped following them, just because they lost a lot of guys to probably TNA and to other places, and it wasn't as interesting anymore. But since they got their TV deal, they've been really pushing really hard to sort of be back to where they are in sort of the top spots of the independents. Going so far as actually having their first real pay-per-view. Well, I say real pay-per-view, I mean on the television itself, not an iPay-per-view. They're still pay-per-views, but one has probably a little bit bigger of a marketplace, a little bit bigger, more gains you can get out of it through television. You don't have to worry about people having the correct speed for the internet to see it later on. So everything seems to be going their way. There was a big focus, a lot of new stars coming in. I saw them recently live here in San Antonio, and I'll probably go see them again when they show back up. So yeah, everything looking good, right? Well, not so much, unfortunately. Wrestling Observer, or some people know the Figure 4 Online newsletter, was reporting that the ROH officials were not happy with their champion, BAClend. And you won't actually believe why. Now, Michael actually won the ROH World Title on their pay-per-view. It was a very big deal, and he's defended it several times. Now, real recently, he lost it to Jay Briscoe. Not confusing yet. because Jay Briscoe was actually one of their top stars before, and he actually was, hunting for the world title as well. So to see it change hands was surprising, kind of confusing, but at the time didn't raise too many eyebrows. Until now, they're mad with Michael, and that's why they sort of lost the title. Why, you may ask? Well, here's the thing. He had an interview. Now, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but he recently put on an interview, and in his comments, he talked a lot of different things, and one of them was being, next year, he'd like to try out for Major League Baseball. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, that, doesn't really sound that bad. No, it doesn't. Especially if you're an independent wrestler. As an independent wrestler, you're always sort of looking for your next job or whatever. And Michael seems like the guy that always sort of challenges himself. So, hey, why not try out for Major League Baseball? I want to be in the baseball team. Let's see what happens, At no time did he disrespect pro wrestling. At no time did he disrespect ROH in this interview. So why are they upset? Well, it turns out, if you kind of dig a little bit deeper, and the Wrestling Observer is really good at this, is there may have been a few other issues with it. That's one of them. And I still think it's kind of stupid, because he didn't disrespect anything. He didn't disrespect the company. He didn't respect, anyone there. He just said, hey, I would like to do this. That seems like a good thing for me to do. And it was next year. He wasn't going to have it next week. He wasn't saying, man, wrestling sucks. I'm going to go out for baseball. He said, no, I want to see if I can do that. And I think that's commended of him. You should commend people who like to challenge themselves like that. Unfortunately, some of the other problems come to the fact that he may have taken independent booking dates where there are going to be ROH dates that just haven't been announced yet. Again, that's not Michael's fault. That's more along the lines with Ring of Honor. Like, if you give the guys you want to book the dates beforehand, they won't take independent bookings somewhere else to cause a conflict of interest or conflict in general. That seems your fault. If that did happen, now, if it happened where he said he knew they were the dates, but he took them anyway, alright, maybe that's on him. But from what I'm seeing so far is that he took the dates, because that's what independent wrestlers do. Independent wrestlers need to take the dates so they can get work, so they can get paid. So he took the dates, probably didn't know there were other dates, and then led to that conflict. ROH, you've got to communicate with your boys. You've got to communicate with the wrestlers going, all right, yes, you can have independent dates, sure, but here are some dates we're going to book you for. Please don't put something there and cause a conflict. Easy said and done. Now, I'm saying it's easy. I've never really booked the show or booked talent and things like that, so people could be looking at me, especially other independent wrestlers, if they listen to this, cross your fingers, could be mad saying, well, it's actually a lot harder than that. You know what? If it is a lot harder than that, I completely understand. But these two things seem like it's not really his fault, so I don't understand why Michael's getting, sort of punished for this. He then got stopped at the border and unfortunately couldn't come back into the country. I have no idea what happened there. I have no idea. He was stopped and he wasn't allowed back in. He had 90 days for a work visa issue, I believe. Work visas and stuff like that is that had nothing to probably do with him losing the title, but it might have been like a dodge the bullet situation for Ring of Honor because one of their world champion is stuck in another country. So I have no idea how that happened or what's going on with that. Hopefully, since the recording of this, he's gotten that sort of straightened out and he's gotten back into the country. At least I hope anyway. He's still on the roster too, so he's not gone with the company per se. At least I don't think he is. I haven't heard any news about that, but he is definitely, I guess, in hot water, and because he's in hot water now, he lost the world title. That's a shame. I really think that's a real shame. That's the reason why he lost the world title. It wasn't storyline. It was just such a weird politics. That might not even have been his fault to begin with. But that's enough for sort of independent wrestling news. I want to talk a little bit about Raw and what the big bright spot that happened on Raw this week before leading into one of my main discussions of NXT and debut of Kenta.
I'm here tonight to give you a gift, and it's not even Hanukkah. I'm here to tell you how to beat Brock Lesnar, and it's very, very simple. All you have to do is give in. Give in to temptation. You hear all these people that when you came out, you have busted your tail all these years, and yet when you come out, these people sit there and say, Cena sucks! Cena sucks! Cena sucks. 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 Oh, see, it gets to you, doesn't it? It gets to you. And it's one thing when a man of my stature and my credentials and my accomplishments say Cena sucks. You have to respect me, but what happens when they say it? What happens when that big, fat, ugly, unemployed guy in the 6th row right there says Cena sucks? Don't you just want one time to tap in to that hatred and that contempt and that disdain and that resentment inside your soul and turn to him one time and say, shut up! One time, one moment of your life, and the rest falls into place so much easier. Look, I'll help you. I'll take you by the hand, and I'll do it with you. We'll do it together. They say, Cena sucks, and you tell them to shut up. In 3, 2, 1, watch. Ready? We do it together. Shut up! Come on, say it with me. Shut up! Come on, give in! Bust a rap on these guys. Go out there and put them in their place. Show how much you hate when they get on your case like this. Watch. Like this, like you used to, right? Yo, 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 yo. You scream Cena sucks like 6th row is your safe haven. You're getting punked out in your hometown like the Baltimore Ravens. Please, one time, let it go. Give in. You don't need to sell your soul to the devil. The devil sold his soul to me a long time ago. You don't need to sell your soul to me. Just understand, lose the wristbands, lose the t-shirt, forget this whole concept of hustle, loyalty, and respect, and then, when you give in to that hatred deep inside your soul, then you can be the one who beat the one in 21 and 1. Or then you can just be one of many victims that fell at the hands of the conqueror, Brock Lesnar.
Is there anyone better on the mic right now than Paul Heyman? I really don't think there is. In that one segment, Paul just put over a storyline that I didn't even know was going on at the time. Well, I kind of did, but unfortunately because it's Cena, it didn't make much sense. Now it makes a lot more sense to me. Now something starts to kind of click and fall into place, and that's the power of promos. And that's the power of Paul Heyman promos. Because now you have this evil entity in Paul Heyman really just jabbing at the good and the decent John Cena, just chipping off his armor one by one, little by little, trying to really get him to egg him on and put him where he wants to be and bring out this evil side. I feel like this is something that they probably wanted to do with Bray Wyatt, but for some reason could never pull the trigger, or they couldn't really think of it. That's kind of why you need Paul Heyman around sometimes, to give that extra little boost. Will this make Brock Lesnar versus John Cena 3 better? I'm not so sure, but it's definitely got me a little bit more interested than just watching another beatdown. That's plain to see. Honestly, everyone who wants to learn how to, do good promos should just put Paul Heyman on a loop and just listen to them over and over and over again. Like being, like I said, an evil entity. He's not the devil. He's not the devil anymore. He's actually beyond the devil. You know, he's that one little crazy, but crazy like a fox guy in the corner that will take what you despise the most, or what you feel like is your greatest weakness that you're trying to hide, and will find it and exploit it. I was talking to some people, and they said this is like the Emperor scene in Return of the Jedi, where Luke is kind of going nuts, and the Emperor is having a blast about it, going, yes, do it. Take out your father, and I will take you under, and we're going to control everything. Paul Heyman was sort of the emperor there. And John, following actually in Luke Skywalker's steps, did turn him away. But there's a weird little hint there. Still a little heelish tactic, because he turns him away and then challenges Paul Heyman to a fight. Well, that's odd, because we all know Paul Heyman can't fight. Paul Heyman can't wrestle. So he's just picking on the guy at this point. And now, I don't know where that's going to lead. Hopefully it's not going to lead to Paul Heyman being off of TV, because, man, we really need Paul Heyman on TV right now. Absolutely need Paul Heyman there. So it's this very strange area the main event spot's going into. Because one thing is, like, I really kind of don't want to see John Cena take the title back, like, so soon, so quick. I really feel like they need to keep Brock Lesnar as this beast, this megalodon heel that has the titles hostage, or title now, they've unified it, hostage by now. It's hold it hostage until someone can come through. Roman Reigns, maybe, I don't know, Dean Ambrose. People want Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan may be coming back, actually, because he might not be having a second neck surgery. So you don't know. There's a lot of really good potential you can have with here, but doesn't have John Cena overcoming the odds. That's just me. And that was really the big bright spot on Raw this week. Everything else on Raw, it wasn't a bad show, per se. You had the Jerry Springer moment where you kind of like, ugh, why? And you sit there, and again, this is just them trying to be, push this sort of feud, and Total Divas is getting a big push because of it, and you can tell it's what it's leading up to, as I said last week. So I don't really want to talk about that anymore. Other than that, there wasn't a lot on Raw that really upset me too much, but there were some things I did enjoy. I enjoyed the NXT sort of showcase match. That's sort of what they need to be doing, and a little bit later on, I'm going to talk about NXT Takeover, especially the main event, or more precisely the debut of Kenta. But that was perfect, because you got the 4 guys in the main event of NXT Takeover. They're pushing the whole event. They're pushing it on the network. And this is going to probably sell more subscriptions to the network. It's like, hey, you see these guys? Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Guess where you can see them? Boom. Couple of sales right there. I guarantee it. Unless they stick to Hulu. But in any case, hopefully it'll push enough sales. It's actually one of the right and smarter things they've done in a long time. And so since I am on that topic, let's talk about NXT TakeOver. But of course, I really can't say Kenta's debut anymore, because he's not technically Kenta anymore, despite the fact for weeks upon weeks upon weeks now he's being promoted as Kenta. He came out in his debut, which was more of an introduction to the crowd, get everyone to kind of say, hey, this is our new signing. They haven't shown off what it is. They call him like he's great, he's magnificent, but they haven't shown why. And I think the reason they probably haven't shown why is they probably just haven't asked Pro Wrestling Noah to get any sort of video from them. I think if they got Pro Wrestling Noah to give some sort of courtesy video, or several videos, you can make sort of a montage out of it. People who may not know who Kenta is, people who may not understand there's actually wrestling outside of the United States, would really get excited about him. But when he came out and was introduced, he's like, this is Kenta, and his name was on the Titantron. Soon he realized he's rebranding himself as Hideo Itami. He says, now I say he says, I don't know if this is his decision or creative decision. I'm leaning towards creative. This is to pay homage to some heroes. And I don't know which heroes they are yet. Hopefully we'll get an explanation. If not, that's going to be just something weirdly hanging off in the background. The real reason for the name change is the real reason there is always a name change between wrestlers coming in from the independents or an outside company. WWE gets to control that name. They get to control the name. They can hold on to that name and put that name on t-shirts, put the name on toys, put the name into video games, put the name into space. Okay, maybe not that last one. But the idea is to own the name, own the copyright, they get money from it. That's why they always seem to do it. It was a bit disappointing this time around because they were promoting him so well as Kenta. I almost thought, like, hey, they may just keep the name. Awesome. Go you. You win. And no, it turns out that's not going to happen. So I felt extremely disappointed by that. What was not disappointing, though, was the whole NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way show. Wow. Absolutely some of the best wrestling I've seen all week. Almost the best wrestling I've seen all month. It is a fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, get the network. honestly, NXT is one of the reasons to have the network, because it's just an amazing show week after week after week, and their live shows every like couple of months now. It's just been some of the best wrestling I have seen in a very, very long time. You know what? I'm not even going to spoil it for you guys. I'm not going to say who won, who lost, and everything like that. I want people to see this show. And I want people to see that main event. That was a fantastically put main event from 4 fantastically young guys. They almost like begging to be put on the main roster. Like seriously, I think like you could really get away with it almost. Like Arian Neville could almost be like RVD 2.0. You know, Sami Zayn is fantastic on his own. Tyler Breeze I wasn't sure of because his gimmick was weird. But man, has he grown. Like, man, has he become so solid and so into the gimmick. So into the Prince of Pretty. Absolutely fantastic. And Tyson Kidd. Holy crap. Tyson Kidd, a guy I never cared about. Never. Has gone down into NXT and has completely reinvented himself. He has character. He has personality. You know, I would not have guessed that almost a couple years ago or a couple months ago. Now he's sort of got something. So NXT is really cool. Like, all right, my gimmick's not working on the main roster. Well, send me down here. We'll kind of reinvent myself. I have some great matches. I can re-debut. Perfect. And you got the young guys coming in, just tearing the house down left and right. NXT Takeover is probably the best show this entire month. I don't think United Champions is going to top what I've seen on the show this week. But that's all the time I have this show. Next week, I'm going to take a look top to bottom, the Chikara King of Trios, their biggest shows of the year. It's going to be a whole show because I want to talk about it usually from top to bottom, day 1, day 2 through day 3. So, that's all the time. I hope I see everyone here again in the cheap seats next time.